Our next question comes from Courier6. See that dude from Fallout New Vegas? Good game, by the way. One of my favorites. Anyway, Courier6 says, "Hey Ramsey, I was wondering what you think about this. I recently found out that the IMMAF has a rule set for minors that doesn't allow strikes to the head of any type. Good. Minors shouldn't be taken strikes to the head, to be honest. Understandably, so many people are not pleased with this rule set and consider it a blatant watering down of the sport." Well, yeah, it is, but they're kids. They're kids. And you might be saying, well, kids in Thailand start fighting at the age of 5 or 6. Yeah, they do. And they end up retiring by the age of 20 with broken bodies. And often broken minds. Think about the ramifications of what you're asking for before you ask for it. So some people are not pleased with this rule and consider it a blatant watering down of the sport. Is no headshot MMA the wrong approach to learning or competing in MMA? Just wondering, as some of the biggest critics of MMA and other combat sports complain that the risk of brain damage in standard MMA is too high, even though it's already lower than other striking sports like boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Well, it's lower than those other sports because those other sports are all striking, whereas MMA, in a significant number of the fights, a significant percentage of the time is spent grappling. And so fewer strikes in general land to the head. It's not to say that the strikes that do land aren't more damaging, because we're dealing with things like elbows and little gloves, rock hard fists, etc. Shins upside the jaw. Yeah, man. A second part of my question is related but somewhat different. Certain cultures and religions consider it offensive to strike someone in the face. Okay, I've heard about some religions like that, but the rest of the head is fair game to be targeted in a fair fight. Face shots during light sparring is okay though. Is this more viable compared to the first option? I understand that a major weakness like many martial arts like Kyokushin is that they don't allow any hand strikes to the head, but if someone practices MMA in this fashion, can they still be competent in a fight? Well, think about it like this. It's a learning curve. In kids' competition, you don't want kids experiencing brain damage. And if these kids are training the way they should, if they want a career in mixed martial arts, in the gym on their own time outside of these competitions where they're not taking headshots, I see nothing wrong with doing very light, very controlled touch sparring so they can learn control and learn to put themselves in positions to hit the head and not get hit in the head. But as far as actual full contact competition, avoiding strikes to the head, blunt force trauma to the head for children, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's not beat the crap out of little kids. We shouldn't be holding small children to the same standard as UFC fighters. It's not the same thing. You ever been to Thailand, like gone to any of the major stadiums, Muay Thai stadiums, and sometimes after the main events, they have kids fights, and little kids get in the ring and they fight, full contact fights, full Thai rules. And it's a weird feeling watching that as a Westerner, because you see these kids and they're the financial hope of their family. They're out there earning money so they can eat and get a better life for their family, and they're very skilled. And part of me wants to just sit back and watch it and be like, okay, this neat entertainment. And the other part of me is like, dang, these are kids. This doesn't feel right, watching this or enjoying this. But man, it's part of their culture. It's part of their traditions. Yeah. Okay, but we don't need to start those traditions in countries, in cultures where they do not currently exist, because you think head kicks are cool. Think about Taekwondo for a minute. This is a really weird conundrum. How Taekwondo became associated with being like a kid's martial art. That's really weird to me. It's weird. And it's probably because it became an Olympic sport, and so parents think, oh, it's in the Olympics, and so I can put my kid in this martial art. It's legit. It's child-friendly. They got all those pads on. How many of these parents know that the objective of a Taekwondo match is to knock the other dude out with a head kick? I mean, that is the end game of a Taekwondo match. Yeah, you can win on points by slapping the guy really hard with your foot in his chest protector, but a knockout has always been, and currently still is, a legitimate way to win a Taekwondo match. Knockout via head kick. So it's just weird. It's weird that Taekwondo has become essentially the martial arts equivalent of a daycare center for small children. It's weird. So let's stop kicking kids in the head, okay? Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.